Alright, so, first court scene here for this case, and we have hardly anything to go on. All we have is an ID, the so-called murder weapon, and we know where the scene of the crime took place. Other than that, don't have a whole lot, so let's see how this is going to work. Well, how did the investigation go yesterday, Mr. Wright? As I just said, we don't have a whole lot to go on. Frankly, there are still a lot of gray areas. Or rather, the whole thing is one big gray area. Don't worry about me, no matter what the outcome. I'm ready to accept my fate. Yeah, but I'm pretty sure you didn't do it for whatever the hell reason you're covering for somebody. I don't know why you're taking the fall on this. I believe in you, sis. Mr. Wright, let me offer you a word of advice. Yes? A defense attorney should never believe in their client. What? The defendant is called to trial because they are suspected of wrongdoing. Never forget that. Miss Skye, you remind me a lot of Mia. But there is one decisive difference between you and her. And that is, you're not a defense attorney. I believe it's almost time for the trial. Good luck, Mr. Wright. Oh boy. My first trial without a Fae helping me. No one's going to bail me out this time. I'll be alone in there. So I have to discover the truth all by myself. This is his real case. As my Facebook goes off in the background because I stupidly forgot to turn it off. Oh well. Let's do it, Mr. Wright. I'll be with you the whole way. "10 a.m. District Court, courtroom number 9. The court is now in session for the trial of Miss Lana Skye. The defense is ready, Your Honor. The prosecution has been ready for a while, Your Honor. Edgeworth. I haven't been in court since Edward's trial. It's been a while now. I hope that personal feelings will not be a part of the proceedings today, Mr. Wright. I will choose the path I think is right, regardless of what those around me might say. The judgment to be made here is in our hands, not those of anyone else. Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. Excuse me. Very well. Mr. Edgeworth, your opening statement, please. Chief Prosecutor Lana Skye has committed an unpardonable crime. Not only this, but she was rash enough to commit it in the prosecutor's office lot. Wow, he's much more forceful in person. I suddenly feel like confessing to everything. However, she will now pay for her rashness with her life. There was a witness to her crime. A professional witness. Well then, call your first witness, Mr. Edgeworth. The prosecution calls its first witness, Miss Angel Starr, to the stand. The cough-up queen? Haven't I seen you somewhere? Ah! You ordered the caviar lunch, right? Oh, caviar! I've never eaten caviar before. The judge is really wolfing it down. And for you, I have a Fiesta Bowl. Thanks. Will the witness state her name and profession? Ah, and you, sir? Did you order the fingerprint lunchbox? It is too early for lunch. Your name and profession, please. Here he goes again. He always has trouble getting his witnesses to tell their name and job. Well, Your Honor, how does it taste? So this is why everyone raves about caviar. It's so tasty it hurts. I always thought caviar would taste like pickled tapioca. Ew. What the heck does pickled tapioca taste like? Name, profession, now. Me? The name is Angel Starr. Don't go forgetting it. I find myself running Lunchland these days. Is that what you wanted me to say, Mr. Edgeworth? Very well, witness. Please describe the incident to us. The prosecution will wait. I'm not finished eating. Hurry it up! Very well, Mr. Edgeworth. As you know, we usually call on the police to provide a description of the crime. Your Honor, as Mr. Edgeworth has said to court, I am a professional. Huh? What exactly does that mean? Yes, please enlighten us. Until 2 years ago, Miss Angel Starr was a special investigator with the police. She was a first-rate homicide detective. What? Miss Starr was a detective? Ah! I know who you are. Cough up? Cough up Queen Angel Starr, Your Honor. Long time no seen. So now her nickname makes sense. Very well, you may continue with the description, Miss Starr. Just who is this lady? Apparently she was some great detective that got her suspects to cough up information, for lack of better words. If I might have the court's attention over here. The parking lot at the prosecutor's office is divided into 2 blocks. A block is for the prosecutor's office personnel. B block is for visitors and clients. A chain divider separates the 2 blocks. I suppose since that's to keep visitors from taking up prosecutor spaces, yes. The crime took place by a car in the back... The crime took place by a car in the back of A block in the car's trunk. The killer stabbed the victim with a knife and went to drive the body out. Someone will stab you with a knife. Ultimately, for her, there was what. Unfortunately for her, there was a witness, and an arrest was made on the spot. And who was this valiant witness? Why, it was me, Your Honor. So now we got the floor plans. Witness, did you see the very moment of the crime? Of course, Your Honor. Immediately after that, I apprehended the chief prosecutor. It seems rather cut and dry, doesn't it? Well, Mr. Wright, I can't agree on principle, Your Honor. It seems that some poor losers are unwilling to accept the truth, Your Honor. Shall I proceed to crush what little hope they have remaining? God darn. If you can, then give them your worst, Miss Starr. Wait, are they talking about me? Probably, Nick. You know you don't have any luck in these things. Witness's account. Somehow, I always knew a day like this would come. I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend. I mean, one of your boyfriends. When I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective instincts working. Your spidey sense was tingling? Then, through a wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. The chief prosecutor was holding a knife in her right hand. Then, she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodwin's chest. I'd hope she didn't thrust it. She stabbed him with the pointed end. It would be kind of hard to stab him with the blunt side. Bringing a lunchbox to your boyfriend. How touching. As you can see, there is no room for doubt. The key point of your testimony seems to be nothing other than the point of the knife which you saw being stabbed into Detective Goodwin. So, how does it feel to be so utterly crushed? I'm still thinking about that. It's merely a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Okay, here we go. Good for you. No, I was on my way to deliver a lunchbox to my boyfriend when I sensed something. Perhaps it was my finely honed detective instincts working. Actually, hang on. Who's your boyfriend? Well, one of them, I should say. This boyfriend, he's the detective? Not that boyfriend. The security guard. That boyfriend? You have several? Yes. This boyfriend, that boyfriend, and the other boyfriend. Oh my god. Care to join? I don't know. I mean, The yet another boyfriend position is still open for applicants. I'll stick with the lunch, thanks. Note to self, the judge had to think before replying. The security guard room is in the lot in A block. It's up on the 2nd level, so you can see everything from there. That would be the room with the security sign. Incidentally, did you bring your lunchboxes by car? Since I'm a visitor now, I park in the B block. So she was in B block when she witnessed the crime. She did say she saw it through a wired fence. You sensed something? So you're saying you had a premonition of the murder? It felt like, how would you say... Oh yes. It was like the feeling you get when you view a pumpkin chock full of seeds. I have no idea what that means. Yeah, neither do I, Judge. Speaking of a detective's instincts, rather, wasn't the victim, Mr. Bruce Goodman, also a detective? Yes, well, he was a young cheese. He was like a young cheese. Young cheese? A pale white cheese, not yet tangy with experience on the streets. A greenhorn. I, of course, am a hard-yellowed shark as sharp as a tack. I pray you're talking about your experience. I bet you stink too. In any case, there, in the lot, I felt something stirring in the back of my mind. Then, through a wire fence, I saw the chief prosecutor standing next to a garish car. By garish car, you mean Mr. Edgeworth's car, yes. Why is everybody picking on his car? Mr. Edgeworth's? Incidentally, the knife with which the victim was stabbed was also Mr. Edgeworth's. Wasn't it? Indeed it was. What an odd case this is. And the person you saw, you are sure it was the defendant. I saw her from no further than 30 feet away. I am certain it was her. If she's telling the truth, we're doomed. Let's just do what we can. Even if we don't have any proof, we can always complain. Yeah, it's called a filibuster. We're dealing with Edgeworth here. I need better material before I start pressing this. Can you tell us what the suspect was doing when you saw her? Yes, she was fixing the victim's tie. Okay, maybe she was going to help him shave. Or maybe he had just bought a new pair of sunglasses and she was cutting the tag off. Tell me more about this knife the suspect was carrying. Well, I'd say the blade was about 10 centimeters long. Is that right, Mr. Edgeworth? It is your knife, after all. Yes, that's about right. Prosecutors are, by nature, well versed in the location of a man's vital organs. What? What the hell does that have to do with anything? They're prosecutors, they're not doctors. Why do they have to know where a man's vital organs are? I mean, it's common sense where the heart is, but... I'm sure it was easier than boiling an egg for my egg salad surprise set. You can't testify as to her ability to kill an egg. I mean, a person. Perhaps a chicken salad set would have been a better metaphor. So, the defendant was holding a knife. What then? Then, she thrust the pointy tip of the knife into Detective Goodman's chest. Tell the court why you didn't try to stop this crime. You did see her raise the knife for the strike, no? The defendant has a point. Unfortunately, by the time I realized what was going on, it was already too late. Too late? Yes. The next moment, the chief prosecutor brought down the murder weapon. I see. It's only a flesh wound, Mr. Wright. We can make it. You said that before. Anything else? Scientifically speaking, Miss Starr's testimony is flawless. Sounds pretty fatal to me. What do we do? Is this it? Is my sister guilty? Let's just keep our heads cool and press the witness a bit, shall we? For some reason, having her panicking next to me makes me calmer. Yeah, she's doing all the panicking for you. Don't smile like that! Somehow, I always knew... Oh, wait, no, that's the beginning. Yeah, we did that, Knife. Hold on a minute. Okay. I'm trying to remember what to press and where. Death due to loss of blood, one knife wound, died within an hour and a half, 4 p.m. Hold on a minute, what? Bingo! There it is. She just said the knife was 10 centimeters long, yet the autopsy report says the wound was caused by a knife 12 centimeters long. So let's see what this does. Shit. Okay, let me try the next part. Oh, shut up. I messed up. Yeah, I know. Yeah, we know she was holding a knife. Let's try it now. Damn it! Well, we got a contradiction. Now I'm just grasping at straws here. This is bad. Let's just press this for the hell of it. How did you know? I respect the prosecutor's basic abhorrence of crime. Yet their methods are ugly and twisted. Twisted methods will always lead to tragedy. And he bows. The lunch lady's uninformed opinion is duly noted. Given that they're used to erasing inconvenient evidence at their whim, killing off a detective that knew too much is merely an extension of that. Miss Starr, do you have something personal against prosecutors? I felt that I had found my dream job when I became an investigator. And if I hadn't been laid off by those prosecutors over there, I'd still be one. Laid off? She was fired? To me, prosecutors are nothing more than worms. That said, I am a pro, as you know. My testimony is unbiased and flawless. Very well, you may continue. Okay, hang on. 12-centimeter knife. That's why I'm confused. Wait a minute. Nah, it doesn't say what Lottie was in. I think I might have done that before. The pointing tip. No, I just blew it. Well, I just completely botched that. Yeah. Sorry, Lana, I fucked it up. Yeah, I failed. Well, that sucked. Alright, I'll be right back. You'll join me as soon as I get back to that part. Okay, we're back. Sorry about that. I realized where I went wrong. Now, if you remember, when you press her on her first statement, she talks about prosecutors and how she hates them because they laid her off, and then she goes on to say her testimony is unbiased. Well, with that in mind, after you do that, if you press her here again, it should get us... And she talks about the knife, as we saw already. No further to get away. Saw that too. There we go. We get this. Witness, in your testimony you clearly stated the following. Prosecutors are nothing more than worms. Ergo, you are a biased witness. You might want to keep those silly opinions to yourself in the future, rookie. Huh? Rookie? Unless you're willing to risk the consequences of doubting me, I'll fry you like a fritter, crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. Wow, that was inspiring. I believe I've heard that tagline elsewhere. You could try plagiarism. I may be relegated to the lowly post of lunch lady, but my instincts are honed. A photograph. You took this? The moment I witnessed the crime, my reflexes took over and snap, I took a picture. In fact, one of my lunchboxes is rigged with a camera. I suppose that's more exciting than just hanging it around your neck. This is my first time seeing this photograph. You think I'd show it to you, a prosecutor? Think again. Poor Edgy. My boyfriend works in the photography division of criminal affairs. Well, this is most certainly the defendant. So, and that gives us a crime photo. Uh-oh, that is unmistakably Lana Skye. So, what was the defendant doing at the time? Trey prosecutor is holding a knife in her right hand. Tell me more about this knife. Yeah, now you should tell us about the knife. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and press her on the rest of the stuff. One more time now that we have this other info. Okay. Alright. Let's try this. Yep. There we go. And you witnessed this? You saw Miss Skye stab the victim with the knife. As I've already said, yes. I swear it on my finest salmon swirl lunch. I'm sure that is a fine lunch. But isn't that odd? Look at this photograph. This is the photograph you took at the very moment of the crime, is it not? Then why is Miss Skye not holding a knife? Ahem. Mr. Edgeworth, your thoughts? Objection. Let's be a little more careful with our evidence, shall we? It is you who needs to be more careful, Mr. Wright. What do you mean, Mr. Edgeworth? This photograph was not taken the moment before the stabbing. This was taken the moment after the stabbing. Objection! There we go. How can you tell that? Blood splatter. Huh? See the dark crimson stain on the chief prosecutor's coat? It's a black and white photograph! Ah, yes, it's hard to tell, but this could be blood. Well, Mr. Wright, I see no problem here. No problem, except you. Mr. Wright, are you going to just sit there and take that kind of abuse? Ugh, you got a better idea? We're gonna object, of course. Wait, that contradicts what the witness said in her testimony. Namely, that she took the picture the moment she witnessed the crime. Well, it seems I was slightly unclear. My apologies. That's it? If you run out of lunch, or you order seconds, problem solved. If you don't like it, try ordering the jumbo-sized lunch from the get-go. Good advice. I'm not sure I understood it, but good advice. Yeah, that makes two of us, Emma. I didn't have time to stop her. Prosecutor Sky was cold calculating like a robot. She killed without pain or remorse. It was a premeditated murder. Thank you. Premeditated? How do you know? Look at the chief prosecutor's hands in the photograph. Well, are those gloves? Surgical gloves made of thin rubber, most likely. Why would she have those on? If it was not premeditated, she would not be wearing those gloves. You can tell what type of gloves those are from the damn photograph. These gloves do seem to tell a tale of premeditation. Premeditated murder. A serious offense. Witness, add this to your testimony. The murder was planned. The rubber gloves prove it. What if she was just in the habit of wearing gloves, like driving gloves? The gloves were admitted as evidence when the defendant was arrested. They were rubber gloves, of the kind used for autopsies. In other words, when the chief prosecutor came to the crime scene, she came to do murder. It's the only possible conclusion one can make. Everything was planned. It was a premeditated crime. Yeah! Impressive. I'm sorry they took you off the force, Miss Starr. This is bad. She's got them thinking this was all planned. If she could prove this claim, the trial's already over. I've got to think of a way to show that this wasn't premeditated. It's only if you have flesh room we can make it. You said that before, too, and flawless. Huh. Let's see here. Do I have anything that's... No, I don't need to check. Maybe the phone. Because if it was premeditated, why the hell would she use her phone? No, wrong there. Plan, the rubber gloves prove it. Gotta prove something than how it wasn't premeditated. Floor plans, maybe? What did he say when they pressed her again? Sorry. What if she was just to have driving gloves? Admitted as evidence when she's arrested. Rubber gloves. Yeah, we saw that. Excuse me. Somehow I gotta show it wasn't premeditated. Okay. Witness, do you know what this is? I think I got it now. The knife that was apparently... If it was premeditated, then why would she have to use the knife that was found in his trunk? Yeah. So he's trying to... So it's... He's saying now that if it was premeditated, she would have brought the weapon with her. She wouldn't have had to use one found on the scene. Yeah, that makes sense. Are you trying to test me? I sell boxed lunches for a living, you know. Yes, because that really shows your... that's a knife. The knife. The knife that was in Mr. Edgeworth's trunk. Indeed, it is my knife. What's with this case? The bloody murder weapon, a red car, all belonging to the prosecutor there? The defendant is the chief prosecutor for the district, right? Mommy, are prosecutors bad people? The defense has a request. We ask that the witness provide an accurate testimony. What's that, rookie? In your testimony, you stated that Lana Skye planned this murder, and that's why she was wearing those special gloves. Seems like a natural conclusion to me. The gloves do indicate planning. However, why would she not also prepare the most important thing, the murder weapon? Oh, you're sweating a little bit there. This knife just happened to be in the trunk of that car. Ladies and gentlemen, if you're going to plan a murder, you don't forget the weapon. Ah! Wah! Order, order, order! Great, now the tide is turning in our favor. Great show, Mr. Wright. My sister's as good as free. Ah, shit. Right. I believe the next lunch you'll be eating is humble pie. What? I hope you weren't deluding yourself into thinking that the tide has turned. Not over such a trifling detail, but this shoots a hole in the whole premeditated theory. Bah, the prosecution could care less if it was premeditated or not. The only one who seems to care is that lunch lady over there. The defendant, Lana Skye, murdered a detective with a knife. That is the only thing the prosecution need prove, nothing else. Very good, Mr. Prosecutor. I suppose you think you're clever now. But you know as well as I do that she planned on killing him. It was planned. If she wasn't, why would she have been wearing... I believe I'd like to hear your testimony again. Witness, please tell us only what you saw and not what you thought. How dare you! My powers of deduction are not to be underestimated. Really now? You sure you're not a dominatrix? Alright, Angel's deduction. Lana Skye intended to murder Detective Goodman. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. I'm sure the chief prosecutor had a grudge against the victim. Nothing else could drive that human machine to plunge the knife in again and again. Got her. The victim was summoned from the police department to the prosecutor's office. It does sound a lot like premeditation, doesn't it? So, if I order pizza, does that mean I'm planning to kill the delivery boy? That'd be a little cruel. In any case, the defense may now cross-examine the witness. Well, yeah. Okay, so let's press. Just for the fun of it. You said that, but you haven't told us what you know, how you know. That's what I'm about to tell you, rookie. I believe what she just said was a mere prelude to the story she's about to tell. Try not to interrupt her again, rookie. Never interrupt a storyteller. It's like pulling a bun out of the oven half-baked. Something's half-baked all here, alright, and it's you. Try not to confuse a defense witness. They're not very quick on their feet. Now, why did you believe the suspect had intention to murder the victim? Her actions speak for themselves. That's why she called the victim all the way to the prosecutor's office. Got her. Plunge the knife in again and again. The autopsy report, 1 knife wound. Objection! You say she stabbed him again and again. But you couldn't have witnessed that. Are you testing me? Then I'll test you. With my moss surprise! Ugh. I'm afraid the moss is growing under our feet as we wait, Miss Starr. What do you mean? I shouldn't have to explain this, but take a look. The autopsy report states the death was due to a loss of blood from 1 stab wound. Aha! You're right! Good show, Mr. Edgeworth. What a hunk! He's my hero, really. What about my objection? No one noticed? Well, witness? What the hell is that? You got the crime scene set, right? Oh, thanks. I always believed that no one could ever mistake ketchup for blood. But now I realize that such mistakes are possible. So, you're saying you mistook something for blood? When she lifted her knife, I thought I saw blood at her breast. Splattered blood from her victim. That's why I thought she must have stabbed them at least twice. Then tell us what you saw... What you thought... Wait, then tell us what you saw that you thought was blood. Testify. Her red muffler looked like blood to me. That's how ghastly the whole scene was. Her red muffler? Yes, like a scarf. The chief prosecutor always wears one around her neck. So she can be easily hanged in a moment of stillness, I suppose. She's right. This guy was wearing a red scarf, wasn't she? But wait, isn't it odd that you mistook that for splattered blood? Well, people often mistake my beard for a bib. Really? A judge with a bib. That's why this place feels so much like kindergarten sometimes. Actually, I do think I saw some traces of blood on her chest. However, the autopsy report is clear on this matter. There was only 1 knife wound. Apparently, Miss Starr isn't entirely sure of her own testimony. Mr. Wright, this is our chance. Chance for what, I wonder? Miss Starr has turned out to be as short-tempered as she looked when we met her. Challenging her alibis as a detective really set her off. This short wick burns out the fastest. The short wick burns out the fastest. It's a scientific fact. I wonder, wouldn't it depend on the size of the candle? I mean, add more wax and even a really short wick could burn longer. Obviously, more scientific testing is required. Uh-huh. Wait a minute, where's that photo? Is she not wearing it there? No, she's not. Objection! Miss Starr, I demand an explanation. Objection! The witness is clearly not suited for detective work. What? The suspect was not wearing a scarf or a muffler of any kind when she stabbed the victim. Will you stop stealing my thunder? And you've proved it yourself with this photograph. Huh? But that can't be. Only a true professional can be so clueless. I'm sure you'll make a good lunch lady. Have no fear. Harsh words, but good. In the end, Mr. Edgeworth prevails. What was my objection? Chalk liver? Apparently, since nobody paid attention. But what is... It was there! A scarf! No, not that, but something red, really! Excuse me. Well now, where were we? The witness has given us an entertaining interlude, but now back to business. What? Very well, witness. Continue your testimony. You saw the crime and apprehended the suspect. Tell us about that. Very well. I do remember some things accurately, at least. Ultimately, we couldn't shake the most important part of our testimony. The most important part? The part where your sister stabs the victim. This next testimony might just be the moment of truth. Apprehending the suspect. After the murder, the suspect attempted to run behind a partition off to her side. I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what had me confused in my earlier testimony. The chief prosecutor made to escape, but against Angel's star, resistance is futile. You are quite determined about this scarf, aren't you? I strike like a snake and bite like a cobra. That's me, Angel's star. That wasn't a very good metaphor. First of all, a cobra is a kind of snake. Don't bother me with details unless you want to get bitten. No thanks. Note to self. Attorney Wright gets bitten by a snake. What? The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oil drum? Hard to imagine. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr! Very well, Mr. Wright. Your cross-examination, if you will. Alright, here we go again. The murder, attempted to run behind a partition up to her side. Caught her, explained her rights, arrested her on the spot. Mentioned the muffler. Had her confused. Okay, hang on. Time to press. So where is this partition on the floor plans? Okay, so she tried to run behind that. I'm sure she means this wall next to the car. That's right. There was a wall there, about 6 feet high. She was obviously trying to hide herself. Quite a natural thing for a criminal to do. And what did you do then? I quickly caught her, explained her rights to her, and arrested her on the spot. You say quickly. Were you close to the suspect? As I just said, I was only 30 feet away from her the whole time. Maybe I should press her for more details? Yeah, let's press her. I'd like to see this on the floor plans, just to be safe. The Lunchland car was... She was a visitor, thus she was parked in B block. So you witnessed the murder from here? That would make it about 30 feet from the car, yes. Is that correct, Miss Starr? Yes, that's right. Doesn't sound too sure of it. But there was a chain link fence in front of you. I went over it, of course. Amazing! The Coffin Queen... The Coffin Queen lunch lady athlete indeed. It would have taken her a little time to climb over the fence. So she couldn't have gotten to my sister that fast. Yeah, that fence was about 9 feet high, too. How come Miss Sky didn't get away? She mentioned the muffler. What exactly did she say? If I remember exactly, I would have told you in my testimony. Cheeky. Anyway, all I heard her say was the word muffler. Just that one word? So what you heard wasn't the suspect talking to you, but someone else? Yes, the chief prosecutor was talking on her phone. You mean this cell phone? Ask further. By phone, do you mean this cell phone discovered at the crime scene? Yes, ultimately. Ultimately, my memory is like a salmon heading upstream, you see. No, the court doesn't see, Miss Starr. The chief prosecutor first attempted to use the phone hanging on the wall. On the wall? That's right. Near the car, there was an emergency phone on the wall. Apparently, it was out of order. And she used her cell phone? Indeed, the emergency phone was out of order that day. Good witnessing, witness. Good witnessing? Whatever happened to good testifying? You should, of course, add this to your testimony. The things I do to please this rookie defense attorney. She gave up trying to use the phone on the wall and just used her cell phone. Do you think you could restate your testimony for the court? Aha! I was going to ask the same thing. I'll only say this one time, so listen close, rookies. Chief prosecutor stabbed the victim and ran behind the partition. Then she picked up the emergency phone on the wall, but it was out of order. And you saw that how? So she pulled out her own cell phone out of her pocket. And during that time, you climbed over the chain link fence. Then I boldly grabbed her arm. The chief prosecutor hung up her phone. And you saw her doing this? What is it, Mr. Wright? Prosecutor made to escape against Angel Star. Resistance is futile. She made to escape. Can you be more specific? She brushed aside my hand and ran. It was a terrible sight to see, like a dollop of lard on a plate of foie gras. Huh? She even kicked over an oil drum at me. An oil drum? There was an oil drum laying on its side at the scene of the crime. But it's strange. What's that? If she wanted to escape, why didn't she run the other way? The other? Ah. The car entrance. That's right. Doesn't make any sense that she would run from behind the partition to get to the oil drums. Excellent. More mysteries. I wish we could solve a few before finding more. So, this guy tried to run? I'm sorry my sister is so suspicious, Mr. Wright. Not as sorry as I am. But she didn't do it. You have to believe me. Alright, hang on. I think it's this. Because how could you see what she was doing from behind a wall? Objection! I have to conclude that you have a personal grudge against Miss Lana Skye. Objection! The witness is a former detective. Her testimony is unmarred by personal bias. Well, who would have thought you would be my knight in shining armor, prosecutor? You who, together with the chief prosecutor, kicked me out 2 years ago. Well, Miss Starr, this is a fatal contradiction with your testimony. How do you explain this? I don't know what you're talking about. Mess with me, and I'll make you cough it all up. Ahem. Let's look at the floor plans. You said you witnessed a crime from this point. However, if that's true, you couldn't possibly have seen Miss Skye making that phone call. I believe you see what I'm getting at. That emergency phone was on the back side of this partition. If indeed you were in V Block, you couldn't have seen it. What? Order! Order! What is the meaning of this? It's simple, Your Honor. She's not coughing up lunch, she's coughing up lies. Grr. That's quite a claim, Mr. Wright. Perhaps you will allow me a question? Tell us exactly what lie this witness has told the court. Here's where the counterattack begins. We can't afford to get this wrong. The witness lied about what she saw, where she saw it, or the order of events. Okay, we know she's goofed up what she saw, but she did, in fact, see Lana Skye by the car and then apprehended her. The order of events. Alright, so, as I stopped there, I was just thinking over in my head. I'm pretty sure she lied about where she saw it. How else could she have seen her make that call? She tried to use the emergency phone, but it was out of order. What is significant about this fact? Nothing. It will be pointless for her to lie about it. Pointless to lie. I see. The witness did actually see Miss Skye use the emergency phone. In other words, Miss Starr witnessed the crime from a different location. A different location? Now that's a pointless lie if I ever heard one. Before you call my lie pointless, at least let me tell it. Let me ask a question to our clever wordsmith, Mr. Wright. Mr. Wright. Just where was the witness when she saw the crime? All the testimony we've heard until now points in one direction. I'm gonna say the security room, because then she could see that, and since she's up above, she could see that. Although she does have the picture from the fence. Wouldn't that mean she'd have to be over here? Then it's through the fence, and she can kinda... Well, let's see what happens. This is the only place where she could have been. The security guard room? Indeed, the security guard room in the underground parking lot is well positioned. But it's on the second level, so you can see the entire lot. But why there? There are many other places where she could have seen the phone. Not in this case, Your Honor. The witness, not being part of the prosecutor's office, couldn't park in A block. The only place where she could have seen the crime and the back of the partition is here. I remember in your testimony you said you brought a lunch to your boyfriend in the security guard room, yes? Well, Miss Starr, how many years have I been getting the better of men? Wow. To think that the tables could be turned. Today, a man has got the better of Angel Starr. Order! Order! Witness! What have you done? You used to be a detective. You should know better. I'm not turning back. The guilty will be punished, and I'll do what I must to make sure justice prevails. The guilty? Is she talking about Miss Skye? Mr. Wright, doesn't this strike you as odd? Why did Miss Starr lie? It doesn't make sense. Huh? She could have just said she saw the crime from the security guard station. It wouldn't change anything. Exactly. This photograph tells all. It was the defendant who stabbed the victim. That truth still stands. No, it doesn't. It still stands? I disagree, Mr. Edgeworth. What? If a witness is found to be lying, then they're guilty of perjury. She knows this. So she wouldn't risk that without a good reason. So, tell us what her reason was, Mr. Wright. Huh? Me? Who else? Mr. Wright, let's review what we know. Miss Starr witnessed a crime from the security guard station. But she lied and said she saw it from B block. It must make a vital difference, but what? What would change? angle from the view to the crime. She'd be looking at it from above. A distance of the crime. Yeah, that would change a little bit. Or the difference in lighting. She did take a photo. That's kind of weird. Let's try the difference in lighting. It's a difference in lighting. Lighting? What does that mean? Well, it means, see, the security guard station is on the second level. So, she would have seen the crime in better lighting conditions. And this is important. Why? Okay, I missed there. Well, she's closer to the crime, but then she'd have to go downstairs. It's got to be the angle then, because where she is, wouldn't she see the victim from behind? Well, the angle at which she saw the crime occur would change. The angle? What do you mean? Well, the security guard station is on the second floor, and she would have sort of more of a 3D view of the crime. And this is important. Why? Well, that's 2 strikes. At least now I know what the answer is. Just boshing us all over the place. So, she lied because of the distance. It changes the distance between her and the scene of the crime. Objection! My condolences, Mr. Wright. But one look at the floor plans and it's quite clear. The distance between the scene of the crime and the guard station is 30 feet. I don't see how that would change what she can see. Objection! What she saw is not in question here. What matters is the time it would take her to reach the scene of the crime. Miss Starr, you witnessed the crime from the security guard station. Now, how long did it take you to go from there to the scene of the crime where you arrested Miss Skye? Well, witness? You... Yes? You ordered the squid wheels, right? What? What the hell are squid wheels? The quality of my lunches has gone from low to inedible. Excuse me. I was bringing a PB&J lunch with fresh boysenberry jam to my boyfriend. Boysenberry for the boyfriend. He wasn't in the station, so I waited. I witnessed the crime from the glass-walled station. And before I knew what I was doing, I found myself running towards the scene, but the door was locked. I couldn't open it. Holy crap! She's got to run all the way around. That's why I had to go through the visitors parking in B block. That's quite a detour. It's probably took me at least 5 minutes to get to the scene of the crime. 5 minutes? This changes things considerably. But it was that woman over there in the defendant's chair who stabbed him. I know it. I have photographic evidence. I swear it. I swear it on my finest plastic spork. That's not much to swear on. You have a point, and the spork is a wonderful invention. Would you like another caviar lunch? Absolutely. Uh-oh. Mr. Wright, you have to do something. Do I have any evidence to stop this? Well, we're gonna raise an objection because sitting back and watching won't do anything. 5 minutes between the witnessing of the murder and the arrest. Think about it. You could make a pasta in that amount of time. Or make pasta. If you like it al dente. I've got lunchboxes that tie pasta into knots, rookie. A 5-minute blank. Isn't that strange? Strange. If you were a criminal, what would you do with 5 minutes, Your Honor? Well, I guess I'd flee the scene. Hey! Don't get the wrong idea. I didn't kill anyone. But you have the instincts of a killer. You would run. But this time was different. Miss Skye dawdled at the scene of the crime. She even had her picture taken. No true criminal will act this way. It's inconceivable. Yarg! Gotta love the screaming. Well then, it seems we've come to the end of this testimony. She has a grudge against the defendant, and there is a blank in her testimony. Oh, she's pissed. Mr. Edgeworth, is the next witness ready to go? Unfortunately, I appear to have overestimated this witness on account of her professional history. We did it! We screwed that can shut, Mr. Wright. That was too close. I'm afraid that the cough-up queen has been dethroned. And with that, court is adjourned. Hold it! Oh, great, now what? Mr. Edgeworth, you ordered the squid wheels, right? That's the ones you tried to foist off on me. I prefer not to take the defense team's leftovers. Anything else to say? I might be able to save you. I have decisive evidence. Oh, great. What was that? Is this another one of her trick lunchboxes? My apologies, but we have no further questions to ask of you, Miss Starr. Ah. Is this your jumbo lunchbox? Woohoo! A triple-decker! Out of deference to the witness's determination, I'll allow one more testimony. Let's hear about this decisive evidence. Like the Lunchland motto says, you won't be disappointed. What's she going to pull out of her lunchbox this time? Decisive evidence. I should have mentioned those 5 minutes when I wasn't looking at the crime scene. And now, to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did I not bring this up? Huh? 2 types of blood were found on this shoe. One was, of course, the victim's, and the other was the defendant, Miss Lana Sky's blood. This shoe proves it. It's flawless, decisive evidence. What? There was blood found on that shoe? Try Lunchland for all your lunch and decisive evidence needs. Okay. So apparently you can order lunch and get evidence for your case at the same time. Witness, what's the meaning of this? Why is this the first time I've heard of this evidence? Simple. As I've already said, I don't trust you with evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. That's why I took the liberty of investigating this myself. And you had the blood test performed? Didn't I mention? I have 3 boyfriends in forensics. Good God! In any case, Your Honor, I can't accept this as evidence. What? You should know the 2 rules of evidence law, Miss Starr. Rule number 1. No evidence shall be shown without the approval of the police department. In other words, this shoe is illegal evidence. At least for the time being. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth sure is celebrating. Not so fast, Mr. Edgeworth. Don't forget, I used to be a detective. As I mentioned previously, this shoe has already been tested by a member of the forensics department. As you can see, it was approved by the police department as of today. Even the general public can produce official evidence, Mr. Edgeworth. Oh man, is he pissed. Is that right, Mr. Wright? It seems so. Edgeworth is looking pretty sullen. You could at least study some evidence law, really. Slam. The prosecution's complaints notwithstanding, it appears that this evidence satisfies the first rule of evidence law. Well, it seems you have yet another count against you, witness. Anything to ensure that the guilty are properly judged. Now we have a shoe. Very well, Mr. Wright. You may cross-examine the witness. Decisive evidence. Alright. Let's see. Can I check the shoe? Yes, I can. This blood, it's my sister's, right? It appears so. Lana's right hand was bandaged when I saw her in jail. She must have cut herself at the time of the crime. Poor sis. Ah, there's blood here too! On the sole of the shoe? It's gotta be the victim's. He must have stepped in his puddle of his own blood. All this blood. It's horrible. This blood might be an important clue. nothing inside the shoe. We'll just zoom in. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you should have. And now to the matter of the victim's shoe. Did not bring this up. Okay, yeah, means it's his shoe. Okay. Wait. Got it. Yeah, I was gonna say, there's no bloodstain on the floor in that picture. Fortunately for you, this shoe is far from being perfect evidence. What? This shoe directly contradicts what we know about the crime. The shoe doesn't fit. Order! Order! You're claiming there is a contradiction with the shoe? As I said, the shoe doesn't fit what we know about the scene of the crime. Very well, let's hear what Mr. Wright has to say about the shoe. What about the shoe contradicts what we know about the crime? Show us the problem with the evidence. The evidence, of course, is the blood on the bottom of the shoe. The problem lies in the footprint. The footprint? Note that the bottom of the victim's shoe is covered in blood. Then, isn't it strange? Why weren't any bloody footprints found near the scene of the crime? Aha! As you can see, there were no traces of any such footprints at the scene of the crime. That contradicts your claim about this shoe. This picture only shows part of the floor, so there could have been bloody footprints. If there were bloody prints, they would have been found. We checked the scene and found nothing of the sort. Order, order, order. Well, witness? That, huh? Great going, Mr. Wright, but it's true that the lack of footprint is a contradiction. But then we have to ask why there wasn't a footprint. Oh, that's true. There has to be a reason why there wasn't a footprint. Think, Mr. Wright, think. Hey, I don't know why it's not there. I'm just good at finding contradictions. What? Oh God, what's he got now? I see. Now I get it. Get what? Our witness is more devious than I gave her credit for. We were hoodwinked to the very end. But she slipped. There's one vital hint of the truth in her testimony. What are you talking about? Think back to when she told us about apprehending the suspect. The chief prosecutor tried to resist, but her efforts were in vain. She knocked my hands aside, kicked over an oil drum. Oh, she's beautiful but deadly. A predator, this one. A leopard woman. Rawr. I thought she was strange thing for the normally cool-headed chief to do. No kidding. Now, witness, allow me to ask a very simple question. This oil drum, was it empty? Oh, that... I'm not sure I like your attitude, Mr. Edgeworth, though apparently you're not the slowest conveyor belt in the lunchbox factory. Witness, well, was the oil drum empty? It would have to have been for her to kick it over. The oil drum kicked over by the chief prosecutor was brimming with water. Water? What does that mean? He's getting at that the water washed away the blood and thus, and as well, the footprints. Still don't get it, Mr. Wright? Do you want to know the reason she knocked it over? The real reason? Aha! You don't mean... Yes, the suspect knocked over that oil drum for one reason and one reason alone. To erase the bloodstains that would become evidence against her. Warg! That ties things up quite nicely. The bloodstains left on the victim's shoe tie her quite clearly to this murder. Then, after the deed was done, she kicked over the oil drum to erase the telltale signs. Why, that's a prosecutor's specialty. Erasing evidence. That reminds me, this guy's right hand was hurt. Didn't she say she cut herself when she stabbed him? So my sister's blood on the shoe, that's when it happened? Well, I see no reason to prolong this trial. Mr. Wright, do something, please! What? What can I do? Your sister has confessed to the crime and she tried to conceal it. But... enough. There is no need for further debate. The verdict, Your Honor. Very well. But Angel Star is on the prosecution side. She could have been lying about the water. This court finds the defendant, Miss Lana Skye... Uh-oh. What now? Little girl, what did you just say? Huh? Me? Did you just say that I, Angel Star, was on the prosecution side? Well, yeah, you are. You're saying my sister hid evidence by erasing the bloody footprints. Well, I thought you'd had your fill, but here you are demanding a second helping. Another lunchbox. A lunchbox called evidence. Wait, witness, don't tell me you have something else. Objection! You've reached your verdict, Your Honor. Any further comments will be held in contempt of court. Your threats don't scare the cough-up queen. Look at this! Oh, for shit's sake. Photograph? I had this just in case anyone had the gall to suggest that the white shoe didn't belong to the victim. I see no room for error in this evidence. Mr. Wright! Wait, look at the asphalt in this photo! Hey, it's clearly wet! Erasing the last trace of doubt from the court's mind. Immediately after the murder, the crime scene was washed with water. I'm sorry, Mr. Wright. I guess I couldn't help after all. It's not your fault. I knew I couldn't win this case from the beginning. And it seems this is what your sister wanted anyway. I'm sorry, Mia. This can't be it. Right, what or not? Don't be so quick to throw in the towel. Get yourself off the asphalt. Take another good look. Don't give up. Not until the bitter end. This is the last piece of evidence. Very well. This time I'd like to declare a verdict for good. Yeah, no you won't. Objection! Your Honor, wait! What is it with you people? Can't I hand down my verdicts in peace anymore? Whatever it is, can it wait? No, it can't. Then it will be too late. Look at the photograph one more time. The last one submitted. This trial isn't over until we get each piece of evidence proper consideration. So, Wright, are you saying there's a problem with this latest piece of evidence? Yeah, I'll think it later. Yeah, there's a problem. Right or wrong, I've got to go ahead with this. It's called fly by the seat of your pants. I suppose since we've come this far, we should give every claim a fair stake. Very well, Mr. Wright. Show the court the problem with this photograph. How about the shoe? Why is there nothing on the side? Well, it's probably here, don't you think? As your elder, Mr. Wright, let me give you a piece of advice. When you point at something, at least remember to keep your eyes open. I believe he's trying to say that no one's falling for your bluffs, Mr. Wright. Open your eyes, Mr. Wright. Think scientifically. I thought I was. Alright, here we go again. Alright, what's the problem? No, I missed again. At least I can't get penalized for this. I'm trying to remember what this is. Is it the fact that knife is still in his chest? No. Oh, wait a minute. No, it was the right foot. No, I'm okay. It's the asphalt itself. No. Trying to think. Problem in this photograph is here. What's this? There's something poking out of the car's muffler. Wait just a moment, Mr. Edgeworth. Your Honor, you just said muffler. However, I see no trace of a muffler or a scarf in any kind in this photograph. A muffler is also a part of a car, part on a car or motorcycle, Your Honor. Just think of it as part of the exhaust system, a pipe. I see, and I see. What's that suspicious-looking claw sticking out of the car's muffler? Humph. So what if there is something sticking out of the muffler? What does it have to do with this case? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Sorry, Miss Starr, but it's not going to be that easy. In fact, you've already told us why this is important to this case. You said as much in your testimony. Let's hear what Mr. Wright has on his mind. Tell us why you think this piece of cloth in the muffler is related to this case. Because of the phone. Take that! Miss Starr, recall your testimony for the court. Ah, yes. When I arrested her, she mentioned the muffler. That's what made me confused in my earlier testimony. Muffler. Ugh. Yarg. Could it be that the muffler you heard mentioned was actually this exhaust pipe? If so, that means this piece of cloth is vital evidence. Yarg. That was big. See, I wasn't sure if it was going to be the muffler there, because I wasn't sure if he was going to see that and then go get it himself without telling anybody, which wouldn't make much sense, but or maybe it would, in case he didn't want to lose the evidence. Anyway. Well, it seems we'll have to suspend the proceedings. Suspend? I find myself wondering about that piece of cloth. If we leave any question unanswered here, we do a disservice of the law. Have the car at the crime scene inspected at once, and bring me that cloth. The verdict will wait until after we've seen all the evidence. Agreed? I suppose so. Whew. That was close, but we made it. At least for now. The court will adjourn for a 30-minute recess. It's lunchtime after all. He's still hungry? To be continued, hopefully with much less failure. Save. Alrighty. Moving on. Why so glum, Emma? I didn't fail that bad. Mr. Wright? Huh? What? Are trials always like this with you? Like you're swimming up from the bottom of a lake, about to reach the surface. But no matter how hard you paddle, you never seem to get there. Pretty much. Except today, we're swimming in quicksand. So what happened to your sister, anyway? Apparently, she got called off to the judge's chambers. Probably something to do with that piece of cloth. So, this is where we turn this trial around, right? Our only weapon, a tiny, insignificant piece of cloth. I'm the one who's starting to feel tiny and insignificant, to tell the truth. Hola, partner! Oh, shit. They say you show a red cloth to a bull, it'll fire up its temper. That's what they told me when I was a youngin', at least. Officer Marshall! Thought I'd come take a look and see how the trial's going. Looks like I'm late. They've got the place locked down tighter than a fort in enemy territory. What is going on over there anyway? All the police I've seen these last 2 days, have really been on edge. Don't you got enough on your plate without worrying about other people, compadre? You could be worrying about the chief prosecutor's taste in mufflers, for example. Officer Marshall? The whole muffler thing didn't have anything to do with scarves. She wasn't even wearing a scarf. You don't say. Now don't that just beat all. I've seen the red breeze blow at her slender neck many a time. I saw it that day too. She was wearing a red muffler. What? At the award ceremony that afternoon. Edward's seen it too, I reckon. What does that mean? In the photograph taken at the crime scene, she wasn't wearing a scarf. So, the star wasn't mistaken. Well, it's about time. Remember, partner, sometimes you gotta grab the bull by the horns. And sometimes you just gotta let that bull go where it will. Time will tell. Ugh, I have a bad feeling about this. Me too, Wright. So, what are we swimming in now, Mr. Wright? If it's steak sauce, I could hook you up with some fine ribs. Ooh-wee! So, back in the courtroom. I'd like to resume? What's up? The judge keeps looking over at the prosecution. Ah! Is something wrong, Mr. Edgeworth? Your face is blue, your lips are purple, you're sweating bullets. That furrowed brow, those grinding teeth, those watery eyes. What's more, your eyes are unfocused. You're doubled over, your back is bent. It can't be! This can't happen. I wonder what happened to Mr. Edgeworth. Well then, I believe this is time we continued on with this trial. During our recess, I had requested that the prosecution conduct an investigation. This is unacceptable! Now what? What is he going on about? It seems our prosecutor is quite beside himself. Excuse me. Knock knock? Huh? Who's there? Ah! What's with this guy? A strange, stuffy aura seems to be floating across the courtroom. It's Gendo! Well, not quite. Hey, the temperature rose 5.7 degrees when that man came in. Who on earth is he? Ah, it's you. Well, tell us who this guy is. It's not Gendo, despite he does look like him a little. Oh, sorry I'm late, Udgy. The roads were packed. It's just me. Long time no see, Udgy? How you been? Swim much these days? Ah, hello. No, I've been busy. Busy schmizzy, Udgy, one boy. You've got to make time to relax. Yes, indeed. Udgy seems to be his nickname for the judge? I'm afraid you're right. Very afraid. Sorry, but who are you? Aha! So you're Righto, the attorney. I've heard good things about you, son. Yeah, thanks. So sorry about our little worthy giving you all that trouble, eh? You know, we should all go swimming together sometime. Jolly! Little worthy? Mr. Wright, you don't know the district chief of police? Chief of police? He's the top-ranking police officer in the entire district. So Gendo went from aspiring scientist in the excuse me, Evangelion series to chief of police. Oh, no, apparently he's Damon Gant. Name's Gant. Damon Gant. Pleased to meet you, everyone. So what do we owe this honor today? It's been over 2 years since you last came to this courtroom, hasn't it? Well, it's worthy here. Look at the poor fellow. I just thought I'd help out by bringing this. Hey, that's my sister's muffler. So Miss Star wasn't seeing things. When the crime occurred, Miss Sky really was wearing that muffler. But to think that it was stuck to that exhaust pipe on Little Worthy's car, no less. Just what the hell is going on here? It's really quite embarrassing, even for us. What's this? It's what you call a switchblade knife. Quite perplexing, this.
Objection!
Chief, what kind of outfit are you running? Mr. Edgeworth, how could they miss such a vital piece of evidence? And if your investigations are this lax, how do you expect us to do our job? Now, wait a minute, Worthy. I've no desire to hear your excuses. I'm telling you to wait. Or didn't you hear me? Have a look at this document, where it says person in charge of investigation. There's no mistaking that signature. Miles Edgeworth? That's no fair! The day of the crime, I had your head in the clouds because you got that award. I know how you feel. But you're the person in charge. I'll expect a written apology. What? Are you serious? Don't be too upset. We'll find a way to clean up this mess that you made. This is the first time I've seen Mr. Edgeworth at a loss for words. This kind of major blunder is unlike you, Mr. Edgeworth. Gah! The court accepts this new evidence, but I'd like to ask the defense a favor first. Yes? Just to be sure, I'd like to take a look at the blade of this knife. The blade, Your Honor? Well, I don't see why not. Could you open it up for me, I wonder? Yes, well, I think all you have to do is push the switch and... If I cut my finger, Mr. Wright, I wouldn't be able to pound my gavel anymore. Yeah, but if I cut my finger, I wouldn't be able to point at people anymore. Come on, just hurry up and open it. And right, you could still point at people. I mean, you'd be spreading blood everywhere and possibly hepatitis, but whatever. Wait, that's a tag. Small tag on this knife. It seems to say SL92. What does that mean? Well, I've heard something similar. DL6 of DL6 Extended fame. But it's strange, huh? What is? I'm not certain, but I get the feeling I've seen this somewhere before. Letters like this, or letters that looked a lot like this, somehow. There we go. Whoa, it's broken! What? Don't scare me like that! I'm the one who's scared! Look at this knife, this knife's blade. The tip is broken off. And a stark red stain. Blood? This does not excuse the actions of the police department. I would like to hear an explanation from the chief of police himself. I'm terribly sorry, but could I ask you to testify for us about the split between the prosecutors and police and this knife? Sure thing. Not a problem. Not even a little one, really. Department in disorder. This knife is special, but I can't say how here. Unless there's evidence to prove a connection between this knife and Goodman. This was a bad day for the department. We weren't in any shape to do an investigation. A detective was killed at the police department. See, what a mess. The time of the crime? 5:15. Scary coincidence, eh? It's not officially linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. So we've got a double murder. Was a murder at the police department a detective? That's hush-hush information, Haji. We haven't exactly announced it yet. Wait a second. You said 5:15. That's the exact time that Detective Goodman was killed at the prosecutor's office. Order! 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 Anyway, we at the department are we're all flustered, as you might well assume. We're in the middle of a top-secret investigation. Don't tell anyone, okay? I think we understand the police department's situation. Well, Mr. Wright, 2 detectives killed at the same time in 2 different places. The chances of that are really slim, scientifically speaking, of course. I'd like to exercise my right to cross-examine the witness. Very well. However, keep your questions focused on the case at hand. All right, I won't press him on anything that doesn't deal with this damn case. Okay. Let's see something. This knife was found on the scene of our crime. I think that makes it connected to the case, don't you? See, there's a lot of things that go on in the department I can't explain. It's delicate, okay? Sorry, Righto. Maybe there's something about the knife that will give us a clue. Let's examine the knife while we can, Righto. Evidence that linked the knife to Detective Goodman. I think perhaps pieces are falling into place. I should try presenting the piece of evidence that's had me stumped all this time. Trying to examine this and figure out why the hell it's broken. I guess not. Something didn't happen at the police department too, did it? Yeah, we did this already. You got a good look in your eyes there, Righto, my boy. Sharp, hungry. Chief, did something happen, and why haven't I heard? Why haven't you heard? Or why didn't you ask? No matter, I understand. We were busy with the Lana's case and all. Well, what happened? What happened to the police department on that day? On the same day that a detective was killed in the prosecutor's parking lot, another detective was killed at the police department? That's a fact! Surprising, isn't it, Edgy? I'm at a loss for words. And the perpetrator? Do you have a suspect? Well, there was a suspect. Just arrested him, in fact. Just arrested? That was quick. But there's still a lot of unanswered questions. Maybe you could help, right? I suppose I could help if you help me by giving me data on your case. Oh, good one. The kid's sharp. Okay, here's the deal. I'll tell you one thing and one thing only. Where was the victim found? How was the victim killed? Let's ask how he was killed. Well, how was the detective killed? How was he killed? Now that's the interesting part. It was what we called in the force call a stabbing with a knife. The knife? That's exactly the same as Detective Goodman. That's the spirit. We're cooking now. But you know, that's not the only thing that was exactly the same. What do you mean? There were more similarities between the two cases than the cause of death. Seems like I'm going to have to press this a bit harder. Yeah, we know the time was the same too. 5:15? But that's when Detective Goodman was killed in the prosecutor's office. What? Funny, isn't it? A murder at the prosecutor's place and a murder at our place at the very same time. What are the chances? Coincidence? This is just my gut feeling, but I'd say there's a 0% chance of that happening. 0.01% rather. Chief Gant, please tell us more about the incident. not only physically linked to this here case, so I can't talk much about it. How could you say there's no connection? How? Because I'm the chief of police. I can't just say anything I please, Righto. You understand? Try to understand, Righto. Well, if you can prove there's a connection, more power to you. Maybe there is something that ties these two murders together. Whatever it is, I better find it and get to the bottom of this. 2 detectives were killed at 5:15, one in the prosecutor's office and one in the police department. That can't be a coincidence. And that knife. What was it doing there? I better check this knife out. I did check it out. Let's look at this again. Oh, I got it. Hold on, click it again. Sorry. SL92. Okay. This. This paper, if you remember, was found right next to our victim. Wait a second. Ah, at last, an honest to goodness objection. This knife. This has to have something to do with Detective Goodman. What do you mean? Aha! An honest to goodness, what do you mean from the judge? This is great. Look at the tag on this knife. It reads SL92. And this is important. Why? Over here we also have a memo that was on the body of the victim. What's this? 6 minus 7S 12-2? Flip it upside down. Your Honor, it's upside down. Upside... The printed name on the memo makes it look like it's right side up. So turn it around and what do you get? SL-9, February 21st. Aha! When he wrote this note, he was holding the paper upside down. SL-9, that's the same thing that's written on the knife's tag. So now what is SL-9? Order, order. Well, Chief? Ah, well, I guess the cat's out of the bag. You win, Righto. I win? What game is this guy playing? This knife was evidence in a case. It was stolen from the department's evidence room. So this knife was stolen? Yes, but on the day of the murder. It was evidence, you say. Was it in fact a murder weapon? Nice, nice, nice. Good show, Little Worthy. It was a murder weapon as it happens. It was evidence from a case long since solved. So this knife was stolen the day of the murder. And then it was found in the exhaust pipe of Edgeworth's car. Hard to think there isn't a connection there. That was it, yeah. And that knife, what was it doing there? Better, yeah, we did. How could you say there's no connection? How? Because yeah. Yeah, we saw that already. Huh. I don't know if I have to show something here or not. Yeah, it wasn't that.